Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Star Tarot by Kathy McLeland. There's Kathy's website if you'd like to check it out. In case, feel free to freeze frame if you need the spelling, of course. Supportive Oracle cards, Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. There's a couple Hay House websites I found in this book. There they are. So feel free to freeze frame on that if you need the spelling or if you need to write down any of that if you'd like to check it out. All right. What do we have for Cancer? All right. I like your cards. Let's see what the other side. What? Oh. My first thought was, well, finally. So what does that mean? Well, finally. Judgment is going in your favor, but I feel like, you got judgment, right? But you also have this anxiety, and you're constantly helping somebody. Constantly. This almost reminds me of like a relative or possibly a friend, to where they just kind of always fall short a little bit, and you're just always kind of coming up behind them, making sure things don't go too bad. It's almost like you're the lookout almost, and you're like, hey, before you go there, how about this and how about that? I almost feel like you might be the sounding board for this person, in the sense of like they start making some choices and you're like, you know what, that sounds great, but did you consider this? Kind of like before you take that trip to New York City, did you price the hotels? Did you decide how many days you were going to be there? Did you, make sure that, if you get there, that you're going to be able to have somebody to hang out with, or, what areas to be in? Did you look up maps to see, like, you have a basic idea of where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing? You know what I mean? If you're going there to shop and you're going on the bus, do you have enough room on that bus to bring things back? Like if you, for example, buy a dresser, are you going to be able to bring that back? How are you going to get that back? Like, are you thinking about this? If you're going, you want special furniture, you need to have a way to bring it back. Not only do you have to have the money to get it, but the money to bring it back. I feel like you're kind of like, you point out the holes in somebody's problems, not in a bad way, but just kind of like, before you go and do that, did you think about this aspect of like getting it there? Did you think about that? Like, how are you going to make that happen if you find what you want? Kind of like, you don't want to make that big trip, find what you want, and be like, uh-oh, I bought it, but now I can't do anything with it. I kind of just have to leave it here and hope for the best. There's something with this. Like, this is a good connection for you. But I feel like it's time to step back. Because I don't see this person really moving up. This is one of those things where, if we're going to use that New York City reference again, they need to do something like that. It's almost kind of like you'd rather they go somewhere a little bit closer, a little bit more controllable. And if they make a mistake, you can try to help them. But it's almost like you got to let them take these trips, try to make things happen, and then figure out the hard way that they're not thinking these things through, and then they kind of end up in these little quagmires. Because I feel like whoever this is not learning to think for themselves enough. You've looked out for them a lot. I feel like you've looked out for them a lot, but it's kind of like, all right, now it's time to start, backing off, cutting the apron strings, if you will, and just kind of like seeing what happens. Trying to keep an eye out for them, but kind of like, it's time to let them kind of screw it up a little bit. You want to kind of keep them in eye shot, if that makes sense, or you want to keep them in earshot. Maybe that's a better way to say that. You want to keep them close enough so you can try to help if they have a big issue, but you gotta kind of like let them go screw up, and then try not to be too available, so that way they have to try at least to fix their own mess. Because I see, like, this person, whoever it is, likes you a lot. They have the Queen of Cups towards you. And I do see you're very connected with them. You're like, well, they are who they are to me. They're a very stable piece of your life. You're not looking to let them go or go anywhere. But I feel like for this to start going better for them, I feel like it's better for them to start having mess-ups now where they try to fix it themselves. Like, don't be too available. Step back and not only, like, don't tell them, let them figure it out on their own. But then when they start screwing it up and they're trying to fix it, kind of don't be too available to clean up the mess for them. Try to get them to think for themselves. They really need to. It's going to be rough, but I'm also getting kind of like the healing comes in because you need to feel like you can have more confidence in this person, and it's making you nervous. Like, they just never seem to really go up in a level. They never really seem to do better in this certain situations. It may be just certain situations, like some people do pretty good in life, but when it comes to relationships, they don't do the best. Or, maybe they're good with relationships, but when it comes to traveling and thinking about everything they got to look out for, they don't do the best. Like, it's a certain category. So I feel like if you're stepping back and trying to promote them, trying to get them to learn on their own, like, start thinking for yourself, especially if these are situations where you've told them things and you've helped them get out of messes, and you're like, they do have the information, they're just not using it. It's in their brain. I've helped them. I've told them. They've done things I've told them before. It's in their brain. They just got to start looking for it themselves. They shouldn't be coming to me pointing out, remember when you did that? Remember how you solved it before? We'll do that again. They need to do that on their own, going, wait a minute, I've been through this before. What have I done before? What has worked? What has not worked for me? This may sound counterintuitive, but I feel like you pulling back the help is what really would make things better for you and for them. Because the Six of Swords is kind of like you're not totally disappearing. To me, this is kind of like, you're still around, you're just moving away from the issue. You're not completely out of it, but you're like backing off, letting it calm down, it's almost like leaving the area for a while so the rough seas can calm down, and when the seas calm down, you return and see what happened, and you try to offer some help after the fact. Because they need to start fixing it themselves. It's just not connecting right. They do make some rash decisions, whoever this is. But they need to figure that out on their own. And they need to be cleaning up their own mess. Because I feel like they make some quick decisions. They do this. This is not odd for them. Which it's kind of like, all right, if that's how you want to live your life, then that's how you want to live your life. But then you got to clean up your own mess. You know what I mean? If you're saving money to do this and to do that, and then instead of spending that, you spend your rent money, you're going to learn the hard way. Okay, wait a minute. Either I have to dip into that savings anyway because I need to pay my rent, I need a place to live, or I have to go shack up with somebody else. Like, they have to start balancing their own stuff out. They're going to want you to bail them out. I don't think that's going to be a shock. But I feel like you have to pull back. I feel like this is about pulling back. I feel like this is a lot about pulling back. They get more stable. They'll get stronger. They'll be able to handle life a lot better. They're not going to like it that much, but they'll get better with it. You'll feel more confident with them that they're going to be okay when you're not around to fix it. You just got to play the indecision card. This is very interesting how this is coming in. Like, you got to give them ideas. You can give them ideas, but give them like 5 or 6. And just be like, hey, whatever works best for you, figure out what works for you. You can do that. But you don't want to be making decisions, and you got to kind of be like, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to come over and help you this time. I got some stuff going on that I have my own responsibilities I have to take care of, so I can't come over this time. But, you can borrow this or you can borrow that, and you can do it yourself, so hopefully that helps. Because I do feel like you're going to be supportive either way, but it's kind of like giving them the indecision, like you can't go and do it for them. You can't show up and help them clean it up. They're going to have to clean it up or find other people to help them. And it's almost like being like, I can't really help you. I want to help you, but I can't help you. I'm kind of busy. This indecision where you just can't really, like, your energy needs to be a little, or seem a little bit unstable to them, so where they realize that they need to fix it themselves. Like, you're like, I really can't commit to helping you. I don't know what's going on. I have some other responsibilities. I'll let you know as things unfold, and then just kind of like put some distance there and just kind of like, well, I don't know, it doesn't look good. Looks like I'm going to have to do this. Looks like I'm going to have to do that. They need to start to learn how to rely on themselves more. I think that's the whole thing. They will get better at it. It's not fun to have to clean up your own mess, but that's how most people figure out how to do things better. You don't like cleaning up stuff like this. You don't like if you have a house party and you don't like that it's a complete disarray and a shambles, and you have to hire a handy person to fix this and fix that. If you don't like that, either you don't have house parties anymore, or you limit how many people you allow going to these parties, and you just kind of regulate that a little bit better. Only people I feel like will not destroy my house will I let come over and hang out with me, and we can have a good time. And they'll learn that. I know that they don't like it, but this is what needs to happen for this to go better. I feel like you'll feel a lot better too, because I feel like you'll start giving them pointers again. But I also feel like it's more hands-off. Like, I'll give you the information. You'll tell them stories about things you've learned about. Oh, yeah, I had this one friend once, and I let them get away with this, and I let them get away with that. And, they stayed over at my house a couple times, and I had these big messes, and then they would just leave me high and dry, and I realized I had to clean it up. But if I didn't want these messes, I had to either set better rules, or I just had to tell them they're going to have to stay somewhere else. You'll have stories that I feel like you'll tell them more informational. Going forward, it should be more information, giving examples about how you fix stuff, and less of you actually fixing it for them. The Sun card is telling me you're going to be a lot happier, not only that you're not picking their mess up, but you're going to be a lot more confident that they're learning what they need to do and they're doing a lot better with it. I feel like for those of you this is going to hit with, there's probably a person in your life that you're just kind of like, they just never seem to fly right. They just always seem to have some issues. They make me nervous that they're going to that the world is going to own them at some point. They're saying start stepping back now. Let them fail. You'll be close enough to where they won't have any major devastations, but you'll let them fail enough and they'll start cleaning up their own mess. I mean, not for nothing. Most of us do this. We don't like the way it feels when we fail harshly. So then we take the steps to make sure we don't harshly fail like that again. Especially when there's nobody there to pick it up for us and we have to pick it up all on our own. Especially if you spend too much money. I know a lot of us when we're in our 20s, at some point in some way we spend money and then we look back and go, oh, that was a waste. And we make up for it. And once we clear it out, we remember, oh, I don't want to do that again. I feel like I wasted a lot of money and I didn't have a lot to show for it and I don't like that, so I'm not going to repeat that. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you for watching and have a great day.